Okay, let's go ahead and get into the last little bit that we have here to do. Select the airplane. We will go in and we will remove the extra segments. All right. Let's turn back on the wireframe. So there's the wireframe component. All right, and we have to connect this back to the airplane. Let's turn on our orthographic views, and you can see how close this is. I'm going to let this breathe just a bit here. I'm going to go into front view, and I will hit tab so we're in edit mode, hit 3 on the keyboard so we're selecting faces, and then ideally I'm going to move this out just a little bit to get us into this area of the polygon right here. I could probably re-sculpt this a little bit to move it over. I'm cool with it having a little wider stance for right now. It's okay. All right, and there we go. That's going to do what it's supposed to be doing in side view. Okay, you know what I have going on here is somehow the orthographic view got a subdivision modifier applied to it. That's my fault. Okay. So let's look at this. That's looking good. Okay, side view, it's in the correct position. Front view, we're a little bit wider just to make doing this a little bit less crazy because you're not super versed at modeling yet. Okay, now I want to show you another trick that we're going to use. Now inside of orthographic, now we know that we were going to connect this polygon to this polygon here on the airplane. So what we need to do is, if I just connect it, how about I just show it to you? So right now, if I come in and I go into edit mode, I'll select that face. I will select that face. Apparently not that face. Let's go with that face. All right, and then I'm going to delete those and say, delete the faces. All right, then if I re-bridge this, if I come in, hit 2 on the keyboard, Alt select that, and then Alt select that, and bridge, you can see, oh, I didn't like that. Alt Shift select that, that's what I didn't do. Right click, bridge edge loops, and you can see what's happening is it's too thick at the top. So we need to add some geometry, but we don't want to add a bunch of unnecessary geometry to the wing. So let's undo a couple more times here, get back to there being a polygon up there. Now I want to show you something. I'm going to select that face. All right, I'm going to hit E for extrude. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to scale this in Y. Why is it scaling in the wrong axis? It's always punishing me somehow. Let's go into top view. I'm going to say scale Y. We're going to scale this down. Okay, to approximately a width, which is at least what I remember. For this one, I'm going to rotate this. Nope. Undo. I'm going to say rotate X. Right, to put that back together with that area of the wing. And then I'm also one more time going to go into top view. All right, I went wrong view. And I'm going to say scale, but this time X. I'm going to scale it down in X a bit. All right. And then scale Y one more time. All right. And you can see the rear edge right now is a little wider when we were looking in the one view. We'll fix that ultimately. But what I want to show you I did is I added a single polygon here, and then we have a four-sided poly, four-sided poly, four-sided poly, four-sided poly. And what I did is I did another one of those fake extrudes like I did at the front of the plane when we were adding in the control loop. And now we can delete this face. All right. And then we can delete the appropriate face on the pod. Go into edge select. I will alt select the rear edge and then shift alt select the rear edge there. I will right click and bridge. And you can see now that that makes more sense relative to what was happening with the rest. All right, now we need to do that trick one more time. Let's go into 3 on the keyboard. Let's grab that one, and we'll do the same trick again. E for extrude, don't go anywhere. All right, click, and then I'm going to go into top view. I will say scale Y, and we will bring this in. And then scale X and bring it in that way. All right. And then we have to rotate it because it gets out of whack. So again, to put it back in whack, rotate X. And there's probably a bit of sculpting to do to get everything just right. But we're kind of in the Goldilocks zone right now. It might not be perfect. All right, and then let's do the same thing here. We're going to select the appropriate face here, and we're going to delete that. All right, now let's go ahead and do the bridge trick again. We'll hit 2 on the keyboard. We will move up here. We will Alt select, all right, the rear edge, and then we will Shift Alt select the rear edge here. Right click, bridge edge loops, and you can see now we're creating the geometry that we need here. I'd like there to be a little bit of webbing so this doesn't look so weak, but we will do a couple of slice, loop, and cut things here. We will do loop, cut, and slide. So let's click that and slide her on down, maybe about that much for right now, and we'll do, again, loop, cut, and slide, and we will slide that on down. All right, and we have to get rid of a little bit of geometry here. Let's hit 3 on the keyboard. We need to get rid of that polygon, and that polygon to create a hole. So let's say delete faces, all right. And then we will hit 2 on the keyboard, so we're in edge select, alt select, get rid of the 2 ends up here. Right click, we will say bridge, and that closes that off. Oh, you know what, I did this improperly. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to bridge across this way, so my mistake. Let's do that again, bridge edge loops, and I've still got another mistake. It looks like we're going to have to do these individually. All right, so we'll grab that edge and then shift select that edge, bridge. All right, bridge. Sometimes that automated doing 10 bridges at once doesn't always work, and it was probably something I did, but that's okay. All right, and then I would like to do another couple of loop, cut, and slides because that polygon doesn't have good distribution. It's too long. So we will come in here and I will bring this here. Another one. All right. And then we need a little bit of sculpting here. But after we do that sculpting, then we will pretty much have the geometry that we want. Right now, if I smooth this, I imagine it's not going to be exactly what I was hoping for the final shape. But this is how the sculpt works at the very end. This is what always happens. Is it's going to be a little bit odd, all right? But we will do a little bit of sculpting to recover whatever we don't have right now. Let's go into the material real quickly. All right, let's crank the opacity back up. Oh, I did this again earlier. Let's not kill it there. Let's go in and kill it here from alpha blend to opaque. And we have 2 materials, I think, going on here. Yep, sure enough. So let's get rid of that material. So we only have 1 material. Opaque. So we're looking at the entire airplane. And you can see here that relative to the rest of the airplane right now, that feels a little delicate. We're probably going to have to sculpt that pod just a little bit more to get that to feel a little less spindly. But we're getting there. We are basically there. We just have some sculpting to do. So we want to mirror the one part of the airplane across, and we will do that. Why don't we do it right now? We'll go back into the modifier tab. We will get rid of the viewport levels. All right. So how about we do it a different way this time instead of copying over the entire airplane? All right, let's select the airplane. Just to be on top of this, I'm going to apply the transforms again so I know that everything is zeroed out when I go to mirror across. I'm going to select the object, hit tab, I'm going to hit 3 on the keyboard, so I'm selecting faces. I'm going to pick box up through all of that right there. Okay, then I also want to stop that. I also want to shift select these faces that we added. All right, and then I will do the same thing here. I need 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we've got the pod selected. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say separate selection, so now it's its own object. I'm going to go back into object mode here, and you can see luckily our pivot point's in the correct place. We want to make sure that's at the origin. We'll do Shift D to duplicate. At least that's a mnemonic device that works. We will right click and we will say mirror around Y. Okay, so that puts us where we want to be. We want to go into the airplane real quickly and delete those couple of faces here that we don't want. So let's go into edit mode. And let's select that face and that face, because those still exist on this part of the plane. Delete faces, all right. And then let's get out of that mode. And let's bring this all back together again. We will say join. Okay, now let's check and see if we have any normal issues like we always do. Okay, now it's the whole entire airplane is reversed. So how about to make that easier, we'll reverse this to start. So let's get into edit mode again. Now if we hang on one second, let me go into face, turn off X-ray. Let's select all of this. I guess we're gonna need X-ray after all. I didn't want to have to use that. So let's grab all of that. I should have just shift selected. All right. We'll grab all of that. Select, 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 select. Okay, and then we will go to UV. Is that where it is? Oh no, it's under mesh. Normals, flip. All right, so we flipped the normals, and we can see they're still wrong overall on the airplane, but that makes it easy. Now we grab everything. Then one more time we go to mesh, normals, flip, and now we should have everything oriented correctly. I'm going to hit tab to get out of that mode. We will add in a few subdivisions here. We could start looking at our almost complete glorious GB airplane that needs a bit of sculpting. And there you have it. I will turn off on the viewport overlays. I will turn off geometry, the face orientation, and the wireframe. So there we go. We've got a little bit of sculpting to do, but you, at this moment, if you've completed up till here, you've got an airplane. So congrats. All right, now we just start to get more fancy with it. I'm going to save and then call that good for right now. Save as. All right, see you on the next one. Bye.